Hey beautiful, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about some contour basics and I'm going to show you how I do mine. And I'm going to try out a couple of different types of products just to give you an idea on how to use each. So this one should definitely be a little bit quicker than my concealer and color corrector basics video. Contouring is actually pretty easy once you get the hang of it and you have an idea of what goes where. It's as easy as blending out. As far as product types go, you can get something like a contour palette, and that will have, a couple of colors of bronzer and a couple of colors of highlighter. They come in powder and cream form. You can buy everything separately if you would like, because highlight and contour palettes will, work for just about anybody. I prefer different shades than what came in the IBY highlighter and contour palette. So I prefer to use my separate bronzers and setting powders and concealers, but it's all up to your preference. Now, they also come in stick form. And if you are brand new to contouring and you just kind of want to learn the ropes, or you're trying to get out the door hella quick and you just need something to throw on there and go, stick products will be your best friend for everything. All right, honey, we are going to start off where I left off with my makeup routine today, and that is with my concealer and setting powder. Now, I'm going to be putting this underneath my under eye area. This will help kind of highlight this part of my face and cover up some of the dark circles that are underneath my eye at the same time. And I am using a more yellowy color for my concealer and a banana powder for my setting powder. I feel like banana, like the yellowy tones kind of help brighten the under eye area a lot better than, say, a regular skin tone. So throw a little bit on my nose and my chin, just at the higher points of my face, and this will help kind of lay down a little bit of a base for the highlight and contour, just like that. Worry about blending too far or too down, too wide, too up, whatever. You want to stick to the more higher points of your face. Now, I blend out my under eye area up here and just a little bit into here because that's where I put my highlighter. And that kind of helps brighten it up as well and make the contour a little bit more noticeable while still keeping it natural. And we just continue to blend out until that's all good. Now you can actually do all of your contouring with concealer. Just get a really dark brown. I prefer cooler colors for contour. Get a darker brown cool tone concealer and a lighter concealer. Obviously, this is not my color, but it is a little bit lighter, probably 3 or 4 shades lighter. And once you put it on, you're like, oh my gosh, girl. But once you blend it out and kind of, like, not really too far down, but just a little bit, it looks semi-natural. Obviously, you guys can tell that I threw a bunch of lighter color on there, but it doesn't look too bad once you blend it out. So don't be worried. It's going to look a little freaky while you're doing this. Alright, baby, next up is our setting powder. I'm going to be using Ulta Beauty Banana Pressed Setting Powder to do this, but you could definitely use like a lighter tone. For instance, my contour and highlight palette actually has more skin tone colors for the highlight powder, and you can use these as setting powder. I generally use this middle one because it is more like a white banana color almost. So it does have a little bit of a yellowy tint and it still brightens, but I totally prefer the full-on banana powder. And if you have medium to medium dark to dark skin tones, banana powder will be your best friend. I'm gonna swipe her off with one of my brushes. Careful not to get in your eye, and kind of just blend it out slightly. So, because I mean, I don't know if you can kind of see, but there's still a little bit of a line between the concealer and my foundation. And there's kind of going to be no matter what, but if you blend that powder and swipe it down just a little bit, it's far less noticeable. And once we get all the products on, you're not really going to see like the harsh lines of where everything is going to be. So don't worry, we're in the early stages, honey. Next, I like to warm up my cheeks and throw some bronzer on. We are going to do that just below the cheekbone. And I am going to do that with one of my favorites. I'm going to use the Sun Bunny Dark. This is a warmer and darker bronzer, but you can use a cool tone or what have you. During the winter, I do stick with cool tones, but because it's summer, girl, I'm whipping out them warm tones. So what you want to do to warm up your cheeks is throw a little bit of bronzer on it. You can also use like a chisel brush type of a deal. This kind of helps put it where you want it to go. I don't recommend using a fluffier brush for this, but you can make do. Throw that on our cheekbones, and you want to find your cheekbone. If you're not sure where it is, suck in your cheeks and make a kissy face like this. And then you can see where it goes. So I'm just going to kind of make a line. I'm not going to go too far down or too far up. And you don't want to make your contour too long because it will elongate your face a little bit. So keep it back as much as possible and go all the way back and just start blending it out a little bit. I like to blend it up just a smidge and down just a smidge. But if you're trying to get out of the house really quickly, you can also kind of blend it all the way onto your cheekbone a little bit, and it can work as a blush instead. Once I've got it on my cheeks and I'm happy with the blending, I'm going to move on to my jawline. And basically with your jawline, you just want to go a little bit above and around and back up a little bit. I kind of like to do that up just a little, but you can just stay right down here. Alright, baby, I'm going to be using my Crown Jumbo Kabuki fan brush again, and this time I'm going to go in with a cooler tone bronzer. The Chocolate Soleil from Too Faced is a really great option for that, and it's a matte. I prefer matte bronzers. I know the Sun Bunny Dark wasn't, but, you know, it's summer, have a little sparkle on your cheeks. But for the actual contour around your face, I think cool tones work better. And it helps prevent some oranginess going on all up in here. All right, so throw that on, and now we are just gonna kind of do the same thing that I did with up top. We're just gonna make a line right at our jawline and just a little bit above, and I'm gonna pull mine up basically to the bottom of my ear and just blend her out. And do the same thing on the other side and pull it towards my chin. Now with the jawline, don't blend too far up or you'll just have this dark line at the bottom of your face. You don't want that. And I actually like to blend down just a little bit underneath my head. Not really into my neck, but just below my chin. Kind of adds more of a shadow and makes it look a little bit more natural. I like to take some setting powder and get this open. Always got trouble opening my products, don't I? So you take your setting powder, and I do the same thing that I did underneath my under eye. I throw just a little bit on the tip right there, and I'm going to make a line in between my bronzer up on my cheekbone and my jawline contour. This helps carves out your cheekbones just a little bit and kind of chisels your face. And you don't want to put a ton on there, but make sure that it's noticeable. And once that's on there, again, I don't bake with it. I just kind of blend her out a little. You want to wipe it off, and you don't want to blend too far down, but I do blend just a little bit so it's a little bit more natural. Now I'm going to show you how to contour the upper part of your face with a stick. And I don't usually contour too much on my forehead. I don't think it's really necessary, but I will show you how to do that. Now, I do contour around my face quite regularly, and with a stick, it's as simple as this. You just kind of go around, make yourself a little line right at your hairline. Now we blend. For blending, when it comes to cream products and stick products, even liquid, you could totally get away with, I don't know, like a stiffer blush brush type of a deal. But I don't recommend a fluffy brush. It'll just take forever to blend out and it'll just go all over the place. You can use your beauty blender and just like with your foundation, you can just kind of pat it out and do small, quick strokes with it and just get the job done. Or I prefer to use a paddle brush because it is a little bit more stiffer and it just, I feel like it does the job. Now, we don't blend this out and down too far or it's way too noticeable. So I prefer to blend it out into my hair almost. And that way it's just kind of like a shadow. Now the Hoola Quickie Contour Stick from Benefit is more of a warm tone bronzer for sure, but they definitely do have, I don't know if Benefit in particular does, but a lot of companies offer cool and warm tone stick contour products for you. I prefer the cooler tone around my face again. I just feel like, especially with my olive to light to medium skin, it prevents oranginess. And with the darker you are, the less that you wanna use the warmer tone products anyways. Tends to I don't know, with darker skin, our oranginess tends to come out real quick when we use warm tone foundations, concealers, and contour products. So definitely keep that in mind. Next, we're going to contour the nose, and for this, you can use like a stiffer brush, such as an angled like liner brush. That works really well for making the line. I prefer to use my little paddle brush with the stiff, long kind of bristles there. I'm going to take just a little bit of my chocolate Soleil, and what you want to do, especially if you got a big nose like me, I like to make just lines kind of right where it starts to go down. And so right on the edge, you just kind of, you don't want to put too much or you will have a dark line on your nose. But I just put a little line right there and start blending it out a little bit and soften that. And then I like to blend down into my nostril a little bit as well. It creates more of a shadow and slims just a little. And as you can see, you can already tell there's a bit of a difference. But I like to contour the bottom of my nose and my chin as well. You can use a fluffier eyeshadow brush for that, or say like a tapered blending brush. That works really well. I'm going to use another paddle brush again, and this is nifty. Reminds me of a dentist tool. And it's just a little circle on there. I think it works really well to get into my little nostril crevice, whatever that is called. So I just put a little bit on the bottom and just kind of blend it out towards the middle. Since my nose has like little dimples in it all over the place, I feel like this kind of brings out the shape of my nose while shortening it a bit, so yay. And because I have my family's famous little butt chin divot here, I'm going to throw just a smidge of that in there as well. Not too far up, kind of towards the bottom where my jawline contour is, and just blend it in. And my face is shaped. Our last step in contouring is with the highlighter. I am going to throw down my trusty highlighting crayon on my cheekbones and such, and then I'm going to throw a little bit of a powder highlighter on top. I feel like using a liquid or a cream highlighter as like a base highlighter works really well, and it helps enhance the powder highlighter that you're going to put on top. So I like to do that a lot because I like my highlighters to be like ridiculous, bam, blinding. So what you want to do is find the top of your cheekbone now and just kind of make a little line. Don't go too far down. And I like to put just a little bit kind of up. It's almost like that, like an alligator face. Just kind of tapping it a little until you're happy with it. Kind of helps a little bit more than, say, a brush. I'm going to take some highlighting powder from my Gleam Glow kit, and I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with some crushed pearl on top of where that highlighter was. Now this is obviously it's an optional step, and you can just leave your cream or liquid highlighter down, or you don't even have to use a cream or liquid highlighter. Girl, you can use just powder like I do for the most part, and just kind of throw it on. Now I know I didn't go over blush, but I was trying to focus more on bronzer and highlight today, but you can also add some blush in between the bronzer and highlighter. I do it before the highlighter and just kind of blend it down and up just a smidge, and you're good. Really quickly, I'm going to take a little bit more of that crushed pearl, and I'm going to put it on the bridge of my nose. This kind of helps contour your nose a little bit as well. Basically, just like with our setting powder and our concealer, you can take a little bit of powder highlighter and just put it all over the higher points of your face. Now, I only use it on my cheekbones, a little bit up here, on the bridge of my nose, and the cupid's bow of my lips as well. I was about to say the bridge of my lips. Is there such a thing? Is that a thing? Alright, so I just kind of tap it on a little bit and brush it on, just on the cupid's bow. I don't go too far down, but I do go a little farther than most people. I don't know, a glowing mustache, if you will. Outlines your lips and brings them out a little bit more. I like to put a little bit of highlighter on my lip as well, because, girl, you know I like to be glowing. So just a little bit on the bottom and middle of your lip, and you're all set. Ooh, and before I forget, of course, with your powder highlighter, you can use a fan brush of some sort, like a thin, long, wispy fan brush. But I prefer to use kind of like a mini blush brush because I feel like this picks up more product than the fan brush by far. And if you're looking to get more of a highlight on, especially if it's more of a subtle highlight and you need a decent bit of product to get an effect, the little blush brush type of a deal thing here will totally work way better than a fan brush. Alright, baby doll, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed my contour basics video and that you learned something new. Let me know what other kind of makeup basics you would like to see, and like and subscribe on your way out. I will be uploading less frequently to my YouTube channel because the older boys are here all summer and I don't want to make them sit quietly for an hour while I'm doing my video 5 days a week. So I will be on Instagram and Snapchat much more often, so you can check me out on there. For now, go out and spread some love and positivity today. It is Monday and we could all use some extra. And you know you're beautiful and I love you. Mwah. Bye everyone.